Greetings, gamers. It is I, Gamer Monster, and today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to look at the open beta for Tales of Crestoria. What exactly is Tales of Crestoria? Well, obviously, it is a new entry in the Tales of series of games, of which I am a complete noob. I have never played any of them before, so I have absolutely zero nostalgia for the series. But I'd heard of the series over the years, and I've been curious, and so I figured this would be a good time to kind of jump in, see what it's all about, and see what they did with their mobile game that they've developed here. Well, first off, as I said, this is actually just an open beta, and it's going to only be open for a few more days now. The actual launch isn't scheduled until, I believe, June. So once the beta closes down, we'll have to wait a little bit before it comes out. But you see the some of the characters that I've summoned here, kind of rotating around on the home screen. And as far as the artwork is concerned, having, like I said, not been familiar with the series, it's decent. It's not my favorite style, but there's some good characters here. In fact, let's go take a couple look at a couple more of them. Saw some of the SSR characters on there. Let's look at some of these SR characters. Just kind of get a good look at what some of them look like here. They have 3D models, and as you can see, you can't quite get the entire character to show in the 3D models. This beta definitely has its issues, but it is a beta, so that's to be expected. Yeah. Some of the cooler characters. I mean, some of the artwork is definitely good, and I've kind of grown used to it and appreciate it a little bit more. Some of the things I do want to mention right off the bat that are really good is when you first start up the game and you start going through the tutorial. Instead of just giving you a regular summon, they actually let you choose your first SSR unit. And that is awesome. So many games these days just kind of leave it up to random chance, and you have to re-roll forever and ever and ever. I mean, don't be wrong, there's still going to be some re-rolling here. Because after you get through the tutorial, you'll get your first 10 pull summon, and you're going to want to start out pretty strong, so you'll re-roll on that. But at least they give you one SSR that you get to pick. So if you have a favorite Tales of character, you can make sure that you've got them, you're ready to go. The other thing that I want to specifically mention, and it has to do also with the gacha, are the rates. As you can see here, the SSR rates are 5%. Now, that's not the best I've ever seen, but that's still pretty good. Most games these days tend to have a 1 to 3% chance for their highest rarities, and so having a 5% chance is pretty good. Now, I do need to mention that their gacha is kind of like a equipment and character gacha combined, because when you pull for Memoria stones, but certain Memoria stones have characters attached to them, and you receive the character when you get those stones. However, having said that, it's best as I can tell, all of the SR or SSR stones have characters attached to them. So it's not like you're going to get some SSR stones that don't have any characters and are going to be a disappointment for you. It's really the rare ones that you don't really care about to begin with. Those are the ones that don't have any characters attached to them. So that's pretty good. Now, of course, as per usual, with most of these type games, you have your story quests that you can do, as well as you can see on the side here, your resource grinds. And I have not been reading the story. I've heard that it's pretty good. But I can tell you this, that Oops, excuse me. Those are side stories. I'm going to go back to the main story. Here we are. Notice that in the first chapter alone, there are 16 stages. And each of these stages has various sub-stages in them. There is a lot of story here. I'm really looking forward to actually reading it and seeing what it's all about. On top of that, as you saw from me hitting the wrong button earlier, there are side stories you can go on to check out, dealing with the different characters. There are also other game modes here, like I haven't quite unlocked them, but there's a Phantom Tower, there's these limited quests. They do have a PvP arena, which is cool, and it looks like they're going to have raids as well. That doesn't unlock until I get further in the story, which I have not done. And then for the launch, they're also going to have your kind of your typical progression type missions for you to do. There are some pretty good rewards. As you can see here, you get an SSR summon ticket. There is also an SR summon ticket. Gleam stones, which are the premium currency you use for summoning. These attachment tickets. All sorts of stuff to upgrade your characters. Speaking of attachments, that's something else I want to kind of point out, which I think is pretty cool. So they have, let me see if I can find it here. Okay. Here, sorry about that. I'm not used to the menu yet. Oh, that's right. It's under Allies. Character room. Here you can select your character that you want to kind of view, and they have all sorts of characters from all the different Tales of games, as you can see over there. So we'll stick one of my SSRs in here, and then from here you can just view their profile, let them kind of do their thing, or you can get outfits for them. They don't seem to have released any yet, but that's an option for the future there. And then there's also these attachments, which they give you several at the beginning, and you can put them on and make your character look totally goofy. Or I'm sure there's also going to be some good serious ones. Like right now, once again, you can't see things because the game's a bit glitchy. See if you can see the tail I've added to her. That one actually works well. So that's going to be a bunch of cool things that we're going to be able to look forward to getting for the characters. Now, when it comes to upgrading your characters, they have several different options. First off, you have your typical, training that you can do to just level up. You can also level up your skills. Then we have Ascension. Ascension is how you raise your maximum level. And it takes these materials that you can farm in the game. Then there's Awakening. Awakening increases your stats a little bit and also increases your mystic arts. But to do that requires Memorias, which requires, as you guessed it, dupes. So this game, to max out your power, is definitely going to take dupes. But that's not all. Because you have these Memoria stones, they too have their own levels. You can also ascend stones by selecting dupes of that stone. And then you can also adorn them with these other stones that you can acquire elsewhere that increase their stats even further. So unfortunately, this game is going to require dupes of characters to max out. It's a good thing that they've given us those better rates. But there are still ways of advancing your characters even without that, which is good. So in the end, this game, well, it looks pretty decent. I know I'm looking forward to it. Even as a Tales game noob, it looks like it's going to have a pretty good story and pretty good gameplay. Oh, of course, which I have not actually shown you guys. Let's actually go into a combat. Let's do one I've already done here before. So I can show you combat. Obviously, you can select a companion character. They take the 4th slot in your formation, so you're aware of that. There is actually one of my characters that would be there if I didn't take a friend, but because I'm taking a friend unit, he replaces that other character. And you also do have 2 sub-members as well, which come in if any of your characters die. So let's go ahead and begin the quest here. You can add some food to your team, which will give you buffs. I haven't really bothered doing any of that right now, so we'll just hit start. Running here, let me turn auto off. Slow it down a little bit. So how this works is each of your characters can take an action. Then the enemy gets to take actions. As you take actions, which are these over here, you also see right here on the top of the actions, that gauge is filled up a little bit. That's basically their ultimate meter. And also notice over here where it says player turn, it says 18 hits. As you build up your hits, your damage increases as well. And each of the characters does also have elemental statuses, so that there's, like your normal elemental weakness wheel, there could be strengths and weaknesses, and so combining all that together is going to make for some interesting combat later in the game. Now, obviously, right now, this early, you can just auto everything, and the computer just beats it up, and you're done. But that's to be expected for most gacha games. However, down the road, when we actually have to stop and think about things, that's a really cool ultimate, by the way. Like I said, it should prove to be quite strategic. Making sure that you perform your character's actions in the proper order against the right enemies to build up your attack meters and to get your ultimates filled up so you can make and do extra damage. It's going to be pretty cool, I think. Another little touch that they sometimes do is, depending on who you have in your party, sometimes at the end of a battle, your characters will actually interact with each other, which I thought was pretty cool. So just little touches like that. But in any case, as I was saying, overall, this looks like it's going to be a fairly good gacha game. I'm going to try it out. I'll probably even make a couple of videos on it and everything. And of course, if you're a Tales of fan, you're going to love this game. Unless you just hate gachas or something like that. So in any case, if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. All that good stuff. And we'll see you guys next time.